lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaoh? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools, and our honored dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not ascend. You and I have a rendezvous with death.
Welcome back, Patriot X Freedom Radio, number 5 at this point. 5 episodes already. Today, we're going to be looking at Pantokrator's latest release, the song We the People, off of Marching Out of Babylon. And we're going to be talking to Karl about what the lyrics mean, what his thought process was behind it. And so we're looking forward to that. Karl, you got anything to say before we jump into it?
Yeah, it's like we are kind of writing a little of the same things, but in different ways. And it's not, I mean, on your EP, it's the whole thing, right? Marching Out of Babylon, I think the most obvious are the song Marching Out of Babylon and also We the People. And then there's a little, maybe also, and after that, I think maybe Phoenix Rising has also a connection. And a more vague connection to the very first. Yeah, it's actually more Crossroads. It's also is going there, and there's also the first song about like when God avenges His people, like on the tyrants. That's also it also goes back to the same. But this is the most obvious one, so that's why we're looking at We the People and. This is also the newest of this. Most of those songs are old, but this one was written 2019. So it's the newest one.
Well,
it's still before all
the whole album, if for anybody that doesn't know, it's absolutely amazing. Like for real. I personally think it's you guys' best work to date. It sounds amazing. The songs are amazing. Everything about it is amazing. I love it. So we're going to jump into that. We the People, looking at the lyrics and stuff like that. So yeah. We are custodians of God.
Yeah.
We the people. I'm go into that. I mean, that's such a powerful way to start the song, man.
What I'm thinking about is that he left this world to man, and we are called to make it in the image of the kingdom of God, but we can also make it the image of hell. We have that power. So we are the custodians of God. We can't blame more than ever when we live in democracies. We are the custodians of God. We can't blame. We can't go theodicy when we suffer the consequence of our own elections. Really. So we are the custodians of God. We are here to make things happen. We can't. One of the most hard things with democracy is that we can't blame anyone anymore. We could before, but now we can't. We are the custodians. You are the people. I am the people, and we are the people. It's like, we can't. You can always. And now I'm gonna go very Swedish on you here. What if everyone? Because when you go to the ballot to cast your vote, you can get my vote doesn't matter because it's just one out of is it 300 million in your case?
Like 330 that's the population. It's about 300. Yeah, it's quite a million.
Yeah, and some of them are kids and can't vote, but it's like let's say 300 million. So it feels like it doesn't matter this or the other way that you vote. And now I go Swedish on you again. What if everyone, what if everyone thought my voice doesn't matter? Well, then like some Nazi guy could win the election on one vote because everyone else was like, oh, it's lost. It's never lost.
And that's
it's not even lost when you die.
It has an impact, and especially in democracies, in the Western democracies and republics, we've been very blessed. So a lot of people don't pay any attention because, on the one hand, it doesn't matter. On the other hand, it does. It ultimately does matter because if you don't vote, as they say, if you don't vote, you can't bitch. So, and I mean, you have to at least have spoken up for yourself and what you think. You are the people. We are the people, and that's the way we're set up.
Yeah.
Pause. 124.
Yeah.
All right. So it sounds like you're expanding upon that idea that we have no one to blame anymore. So
that's it. And we're like, it's our choice and our shame when we sell our rights for bread and games. That goes back to that old Roman saying about give the people theater and bread.
I like how you threw in referencing Edom, how he sold his birthright for a bowl of stew.
Yeah, it's like one of the amazing things is that when they talk about fornication in New Testament, they go back to that story. And we are used to thinking of fornication just in the sexual reference.
Yeah.
But what he's doing is he's selling his birthright for a temporary desire, and that's kind of the very sore the core of fornication as well. So I think it's brilliant that they connect those two, eat them with a bowl of stew with fornication.
Well,
so
that's a very good point, which goes into a lot of other things. That's what basically all sin and evil and everything else is in the world, is it not? You're trading something larger and better for this temporary thing that won't last. And it's turning things upside down and inside out. That's a very, very good point to make as far as referencing those two.
C.S. Lewis is talking about it like sin is pursuing something that is in itself good, but for the wrong reasons and in the wrong way.
Well, I then always makes me think of when he talks about in Mere Christianity, I think it was, where he was talking about strip clubs and stuff like that. Can you imagine a bunch of men sitting around a club howling over a bowl of bacon? You know, I think that's what he was talking about. Like, kind of like we would. It's ridiculous. You know, it's just about how how things just don't make sense the way man tries to do it.
Yeah, sometimes we do that though.
Oh yeah, I'll howl over a bowl of bacon. So
yeah. Yeah, but I mean that's no clubs for it where you just watch food.
We trade our freedom for false security.
We the people should consider the next trade we make.
I've heard you've in our talks over the years, you've talked a lot about this, trading our freedom for false security, and you've expounded upon that idea many times as far as this false security offered, so
yeah, because you are not safe. They can't take your freedom, but they can't make you safe. So it's a false. It's not freedom for security. It's freedom for false security. One day your heart's gonna stop, no matter what they do, no matter how you give away. When your days are up, they're up, and they can't change that.
But they seem to they think that they can. They think that if I nowadays, like if I just comply, they'll leave me alone and everything will be back to normal and everyone will be healthy, wealthy, and wise, and nothing bad will happen if we just give up a little more freedom, because a good Christian should never want freedom for anyone if anything bad will happen, as if you could ever stop what's going to happen.
Yeah, there are people who think that God shouldn't have put the tree in the garden, but it's like, well, if he didn't, you wouldn't be here to bitch about it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because then all of history would be and
they wouldn't, and it's only selective. They don't give up a car because they might run someone over one day or hurt someone in a car accident. They don't give that up. Well, I have to go to work. Well, who says you have to go to work? You're putting your own interests ahead of someone else's safety. That's what you're saying. And that's, like I said, it's selective. So trading our freedom for false security is, it's a sad thing to see. But that's always been that way. Okay.
Yeah.
To us, a choice is given. To tear down, to rebuild. Go.
Yeah, it's actually inspired by Jeremiah when he gets the calling as a prophet. Like, I have given in your hand to tear down and to rebuild.
I didn't realize that's where that was from. Okay.
Yeah, it's from that. Look it up later. It's just in the beginning of Jeremiah when he makes what he says he's doing to Jeremiah is not making him humble and obedient. I'm going to make you a forehead of brass or something like that, like a backbone of steel. And I'm going to set you against these people. And, he had a tough job.
Yeah. I mean,
some of us has to be that one, the bonehead.
Yes.
And some of us
has to do that.
Yeah, but also somebody has to do the opposite, because that kind of reveals the filth. Like, for example, when you had the drive-in services in the States.
Yeah.
They complied with everything. Yeah, and in this case, that's not bad, because what it showed was it wasn't about that. Because they still tried to fine them $500 a piece. And when they were sitting in cars, one car apart, like you can't fit more than 5 people into a car, like if you sit there legally. They complied with everything, and they still went pursuing and like the persecution. So
Yes.
so if we didn't have this people who was doing this, like, yeah, let's just do all these things and find a new way, then they wouldn't have revealed themselves as the fascists they were.
That's a very good point.
Some people have to be the fists, and some people have to be the
that's a good
open palm.
Yeah, because is the whole body an ear? Is the whole body a hand? No, everybody has a different role to play.
When Jesus talks about, when someone takes your mantle, give him the shirt also, like strip naked and take everything.
Yeah,
there's a powerful message, like to go another mile and show what you're really doing to me, right?
Yes.
It's like that's one part, but there's also the Jeremiah, like I'm gonna give you like a metal head. I don't know the exact words there, but let's look that up later and put it in the screen.
Okay.
So it's a wonderful verse. He felt important.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about praying together, struggling together, going to jail together.
Yeah.
Here we are back again. History repeats itself.
Let's say he came back. Martin Luther King. What would he be today? He would be the black face of white supremacy.
Yeah, like Larry Elder was. That's what they would say, because he's not calling to erase an entire group of people, No,
so and they pretend they still like him. It's not. No one is trash talking Martin Luther King, but if you listen to what he's saying, about like judging people on their character and not on their skin and their group identity and their whatever. Yeah, he was the black face of white supremacy before that was a thing.
Yeah. Well, they have to, if you no longer make these little groups of people and pit them against each other, there's no war anymore. It's like feminists. You have to keep struggling against men. If you ever reach the point where there's nothing left to struggle for, you
can't be a feminist anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not.
So you have to find the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and it's a self-perpetuating monster.
Yeah, what's
that
the
just
end
eats
game?
its own tail. Yeah,
yeah,
it
eats its own ass. Yes,
right.
It does. Yeah. So let's go on then.
Yep. Quite a bit of lyrics there. Like sheep to the slaughter, rats to the piper.
Sheep to the slaughter. We have that image in the Bible. Rats to the piper. It's a European old tale about the piper.
The Pied Piper.
Yeah, he takes all the children away and like clouds adrift the wind that is somewhere in the epistles. They are like.
I think that sounds like Jude. Yeah.
I don't know where, but it's in there.
Yes.
Shackles
for your liberty.
A penny for your sanity.
Oh, yes. Penny for your sanity and chains for your liberty. Now, are you now
like buying you off, like with a very cheap price?
So it's
Like
interesting there because you use the idea a penny for your sanity, but then chains for your liberty. So is the person saying that kind of doing the same thing? Like they are, they're trying to tell you that it's here, take these chains so that you can be free, or are they saying it's kind of like I'm tricking you into taking these chains, or are they convincing them that it's a good thing?
I don't know. But I have to think about this. So penny for your sanity is like, when they buy us off to look the other way, to not be critical thinking, to just go with the flow and nothing to see here, move along. That's like, and it's for a penny. It's for nothing.
Yeah.
So you don't get, and they buy your mind off with like nothing, and they offer like shackles for your liberty and a pile of waste for your soul. So like, because we have this Faust story where like people sell their soul to Satan for great things.
Yeah.
But that's not really true, because they sell their souls, but it's nothing.
Yeah.
What they get is nothing. You just
what does it profit a man? What does it profit
Yeah.
a man if he gains the whole world but loses his soul? That was in my mind. That was in my mind very loud after church this past Sunday. Actually, there's an old song by Michael W. Smith from like an old album from like 1990. My mom used to listen to it all the time. So it was like one of my first albums that was kind of it was like more adult contemporary rock. No wonder I grew up liking guitar and drums and stuff like that, because it's a good album. It really is.
Yeah.
But the last song on there, all he says is, what does it profit a man if he gains a fortune but loses his soul? And that it's like a minute and a half long song, but it's so powerful. So
I was going with that, but twisting it, like, because you don't even get you get a pile of waste for your soul. You get shit. That's what you get. You can't compare what you're getting for what you're paying at all. It's like that's not a deal at all. It's like buying sand in Sahara. It's like, it's useless.
You got
I did.
Semper Tyrannis. I think we all know who said that.
Yeah. For me, it's not about who said it, but what he said.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
I probably would have liked Lincoln more than I like that guy, but I like what he said.
Well, yeah. Thus always the tyrants. It's I don't know, other than just, we have this thing, especially it's more come up in the Reformation, but I think you can trace it back all the way through the Old Testament. Rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God. You look at Daniel, you look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You look at all
the people of Israel walking out of Egypt.
Yeah, you look in the book of Esther. You just have this constant thing, and I referenced that a lot at the beginning of all this the last year and a half, especially in the book of Esther, where I can't remember the guy's name right now, but he was
Naaman.
Naaman. You better bow down, and he didn't bow down, and the king got really upset and decided he was going to kill all the Jews. Now, someone could say,
Naaman got upset, and he sold the idea to the king.
Yeah, so you could say, well, all he had to do to you should protect the other people, that you should have just bent the knee, and that that way it's not
going.
And I remember reading that one morning and just like, here you have the
Wasn't
perfect
it very
example.
selfish of him to sacrifice his whole people,
his liberty and his freedom? All I hear about is freedom and liberty from you Americans and American Christians, and you shouldn't be doing that. All you should care about is somebody else's health.
what else should you hear about from American Christians than
Yeah,
freedom
well,
and liberty? I mean, that's your thing.
well, and that's no one in this entire time ever thought, oh, I want people to get sick or have bad things happen to them. That's not it. But your health can come back. Once your freedoms are gone, they don't come back. You know, without a lot of bloodshed, look at the arc of history. It just doesn't work that way, you know. So
you take it back in a flood of blood. That's been the story of his. Or you do as the Czech Republic. You just stubborn yourself into it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
but
that's been the story. It's been the story of history that they don't have give it up. Yeah. It's like a bully. Yeah. If you keep giving them your lunch money, they're going to keep coming back for your lunch money because you haven't stopped them. So, and that's
because
it's
a good tech. You do this, you get lunch money. I mean, it's a behavioristic.
Exactly.
It's like
I won't beat you up as long as you keep giving me your lunch money. And if you keep doing that, they're going to keep taking your lunch money away and you won't be able to eat. But hey, at least you're, you know, so it's the same idea. And there's nothing new under the sun. Everything is the same. And it's always been a very small percentage of people who are loud about it. The mass majority of people in society over time have just wanted to watch Netflix, eat pizza, and don't involve me, don't rock the boat. It's been the small amount of people either way to change the course of history. Either way, you know, I think about in American history, I don't believe it was a whole lot of people who were on the side of the Continentals. A lot of people didn't fight with the Continental Army. A lot of people just wanted to be left alone. But look what it became. So
if they don't ask us about a little thing like stamps, for example, that's one of the things, right? Stamps, something tax on stamps or something with stamps.
The T was the biggest one, you know.
Yeah.
Stamps were, I think, another thing possibly as well. Tariffs and things.
Yeah.
So
because taxation without representation is theft.
That's right. And it is. I mean, that's hard earned money that you made. Doesn't belong to these people that you elected. It belongs to everyone.
Some of the more extreme on the Republic side, they kind of forget half of that. They just go, taxation is theft. Nah, that's not the original. Taxation without representation.
And that's
because they still want the road. They still want, infrastructure, and they still want an army.
Even the Bible, as Christians, we're not to be completely anti-tax. We should be anti-lies, which is what comes with tax half the time. But we're told even in Romans, or I think it maybe Romans, or I can't remember which book it was, who said it now. I think it might have been Paul or Peter, but that's why you pay taxes.
Yeah, and they are the servants of God when they watch over these things. And
that's right.
It's about punishing the evil and protecting the good.
Exactly. Yes, a lot of people misread that Romans 13. It's like, you have to do what they say every time. Well, then they didn't even have in the Bible where they did
when. So the power invested in me is for doing this job. If you're not doing that job, you're not authority.
Yep.
And to me, and maybe this is extreme, but I flip that the other way. The one who's doing that job is authority. A thug with a badge is still a thug. Right?
That's right. Yep. But someone who doesn't have a badge but is doing right is. Yeah.
So the one who's doing it, the one who's doing that job has that power. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
And sometimes you have to do it yourself. And I know society can't accept it, but it's still right.
Society is thankful for the people. They don't even realize it, but they're thankful for the people who did. Because they are the benefactors of everybody who stood up. They're the benefactors of everybody who had the balls to say no and to do what was right when the pressure was on. And it's tough for those people, but we all benefit from it. We benefit from it so much that we don't even realize we benefit from it because,
what is it
especially
you
in the
usually
West,
say? We stand on the shoulders of giants.
yes,
Yeah, we do.
we really do.
So, I have something here.
Okay.
About, like, unto us a voice is given. That obviously goes back to democracy, like a voice or a vote or whatever, but not ever forgetting that. And because we have a tremendous power as a people, as a society, when we, and now now it goes Swedish again, when we come together, right? The I mean the we had a thing in Sweden many years ago. I was a kid, and it was came out some news about the bleach they have in coffee filters.
Yeah.
That was bad for you. And like collectively, the people took it to heart and just stopped. It took like 2 days, and we had those brown filters with no bleach. I have seen consumer power when it.
Yes.
Well, that's we the people. When everyone like, no, I want that, and they just.
When it comes to evil people, one thing evil people love is money.
Yeah,
because the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. So, okay, all right, you love money. Guess who has most of the money and who has the power to spend the money? And if we don't spend the money, you don't get the money. You see that like in France, where they fax the vaccine passports, and okay, I can't come into the restaurant. Fine, I'm just going to have a picnic with 100, 500 of my other families, buddies and stuff, and we're going to have a picnic right in front of your restaurant, but we're not going to come in because we can't. We're not going to spend any money in your restaurant. Meanwhile, you have no one in there paying you anything. You're going broke. Yeah, it might be because the government's put pressure on you, but whose side are you on? You're part of the people too.
That's the point where the restaurants go to the government and like, hey, you broke this, you fix it.
That's right.
Oh, it's and when the people in the restaurants don't have a job, taxes on all those salaries, So it's like about never forgetting unto us voice is given, because we often go into a brown study and gloomy doom and gloom and hide under the table, but that's not what we're called to do.
No,
we have not been given the spirit of fear.
Amen. That is so true.
Yeah.
And it's easy sometimes to there's a lot going on in the world, and it's easy to get distracted and things like that. You got to come back. And for all you people out there, that's why you have good friends, especially in the faith, that you can build each other up. And that's what you got to do. So,
no one said it would be easy.
No, and it's not. But we do. We have a voice, and they eventually will have to listen.
One thing that caught my heart in the Lord of the Rings is "Hail the Victorious Dead."
Yeah,
I actually wrote a song about that didn't make it to the marching album. So the victorious dead are those who sacrificed themselves for this victory. Yeah. They're still winners of this victory.
Yes,
they can't be here and be a part of that feast, but still, hail the victorious dead. The victorious.
And that
dying is losing.
Yeah, that reminds me of a saying an elder at a church a long time ago I went to, and I'm still good friends with him. Very wise man. He said, and it has always stuck with me: failure is not fatal until it's final. You always have another opportunity to get up. Failure is not fatal until it's final. And that's stuck with me for a long time. You have to keep pushing forward. If you give up, that's when you lose.
Yeah.
So
that's it. And this also a thing I mentioned this probably 100 times to you. I don't know, but in the old Swedish phone book, like back in the days when there were phone books before the internet, I was alive back then, and there was a little text called "When the War is Coming," and I cut it out and glued it into my Bible because it was like, and one of the things it said was like, you will hear on the radio that the war is over and it's time to come out, give up your guns and give up the resistance. It's not over. It's never over.
yeah,
And it was like, we're gonna keep guerrilla fighting until the country is free again.
yes,
And I just the prickles again.
That deserves to be cut out and kept.
And and such a wonderful little text, and it goes back to the Leonidas when they, you are outnumbered, hand over your weapons, and he says, come and get it.
Yep.
Because obviously, if you have to ask me for something, I'm not dead, right?
That's right.
If you ask me to hand over the guns because it's over, that means that you can still get hurt, right?
That's right.
Still, so the text was, what you will get false messages that it's time to stop, and that it's finalized. Keep going.
Keep going.
I think I want to build my life on that.
Yeah. There's no other choice.
Dad, what if they run over our milk table tomorrow? We build another one.
We build another one. We build a new.
Yeah. That's how I want. I'm not sure I'm doing it all the time. Sometimes I may take the easy way out, but that's how I want to live my life. That's my prayer. Let me be one of those.
Oh yeah. Let
me die as one standing on his feet. That's everything.
Yeah. There's really no other choice. There's no other. If you don't, then it's kind of like the idea that
with the lunch money.
Well, the lunch money and just, okay, we're going to keep you safe so that you'll stay alive, but you're not really going to live because we're going to take away everything that makes you human. And therefore, but you'll be physically alive, but spiritually you're dead. So what's the point?
What does it help a man if he wins the whole world and
loses his soul? That full circle, right back to it.
We the people, we the few, we are
few. You know what that comes from? We the people, we the few, we happy few.
What does that come from?
It's actually we few, we happy few, we band of brothers. It's Shakespeare. It's not Band of Brothers. It's also stolen from there. It's Shakespeare, Henry V, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's not one of those like amazing battles where they just And he holds a speech before the battle or after the battle. I don't remember which one. Where like how these scars will remind them. You will roll up your sleeve and say, "I got that scar in that battle."
Yeah.
And then we few, we happy few. We who stood the ground here will be the ones that can roll up our sleeves and show the scars and say, "I was there. I did it."
Yeah.
That is just so beautiful. I love Shakespeare.
I need to get more Shakespeare in my life, really, honestly. Support awesome death metal bands. Support awesome death metal bands. We all need it. And because these are on the front lines of the information and cultural battles in the world right now. So
someone has to stick it to the man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it, and we'll be glad to. So that's We the People, Pantokrator's latest album, Marching Out of Babylon. And please go check that out, guys, and purchase digital copies, physical copies. I think they got on vinyl as well. They got all kinds of awesome merchandise. Please go support them.
Even a tape, but it's just limited to 100.
Yeah. So please go do that. And so this has been Patriot Acts Freedom Radio episode 5. And we want to thank everybody for being here and listening to these thoughts.
Because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. For should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaoh, but Christ have refused the cross, should the patriots that conquered Ridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world, the martyrs of history were not foolish, and our honored dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer.